Um, my chapter is basically me, Destiny, from start to finish, or at least not finish. I wouldn't say finish, but it starts from the life I had with my mom, to the life I had with her and my mom and her boyfriend at the time. It transforms into living with my great grandparents, to moving in with my grandma and her shaping me and evolving me and helping me become the person I am today, with a lot more deeper, trauma.
Okay, everybody, welcome to Living the Next Chapter. We have yet another author from Mission Hope, Shar Murphy's new book that's coming out with multiple authors. And our guest today, Destiny, is with us, and we're going to be talking about the chapter that Destiny has written for this book. And I think from our conversation, Destiny is the youngest of all the authors in the book, which is awesome, amazing. And Destiny's joining us to talk about the book, her chapter, and much more. Welcome to our little podcast, Destiny. Welcome.
Oh, thank you.
Great to have you here. So for the listeners who haven't met you yet, can you tell everybody where you are in this great world of ours?
I reside in Florida.
Beautiful.
With my cute little animals.
Oh, okay. Wait, let's talk about animals for a second.
Yeah, my animals.
What do you got? What do you got?
I got a cat, a dog, and a leopard gecko.
Beautiful. I have 2 dogs, a turtle, and a king snake. So there we go. How's that?
Yeah.
There you go. Good combos.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool. I love pet owners, by the way. That tells me something special about you as a person to have pets. That's great. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So you are part of the book by Char Murphy's put together. You're actually related to one of the authors as well, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And you've contributed to this book. Can you tell me how, and tell our listeners, how you got connected with writing a chapter in this book?
Well, I didn't really like English class in school. And I remember I had a job and I didn't think about really writing a book, but my grandma, she came up to me and she was like, my friend Char, she's making a book and she was asking if you wanted to be a part of it. And I was like, that's scary, but my grandma, she supported me the whole way and, made sure I was on top of the book and then I knew, what I was writing and, she helped me add some really good details to my story.
Nice. So at any point, Destiny, when you're writing your part of this book, did you have a question in your mind like, who am I to write in this book? Like, why would they even ask me? Did you have that kind of feeling at all?
At one point, yeah, I did.
Okay.
Because I felt like, somebody else could have wrote something way more better in my spot. But then I realized somebody does need my story.
Nice. I'm so glad to hear you say that. That is perfect. That's exactly why I asked that question. What is your hope for people who read your chapter when they're all done your chapter? They've read the last word that you've written. What are you hoping they're going to learn from reading your part?
Well, me being part of the book at such a young age, it is, I try to gear it more towards people from my age group, but it's also there for people, just anybody. But I know that somebody who is younger, who might be going through the same thing, maybe they're 15, 16, they might be going through the same thing, and maybe they just need just one voice. Somebody that they can relate to and listen to. And yeah, that's what I was trying to do with my story, is show people that it don't matter how old you are, things happen, and that they're not alone.
Nice. Awesome. So can we talk a little bit about your story then, Destiny? Because I think that'll help people as we go through our little episode here together. If we can get a little bit of background about the story behind the story so that we can kind of understand a little bit more. Can you take us back and
You
help
mean
us
like
understand? Yeah.
Yeah, you want me to talk a little bit about my chapter?
Yeah, for sure.
My chapter is basically me, Destiny, from start to finish, or at least not finish. I wouldn't say finish,
To today.
but
Yeah.
it starts from, the life I had with my mom, to the life I had with her and my mom and her boyfriend at the time. It transforms into living with my great grandparents, to moving in with my grandma and her shaping me and evolving me and helping me become the person I am today.
Mm.
With a lot more deeper, trauma.
Yeah. Let's talk about your grandma for a second. I just sense that you have a lot of love for her.
I do. I absolutely love my grandma.
Yeah. What is
I
it
do.
about her?
She's one of those people who she will definitely tell you when you're doing wrong, without a doubt. Every time. She will tell you if you're doing wrong. She's very blunt. She doesn't care what you think. But at the same time, she has this loving energy to her. She's very nurturing, and she is very supportive in everything I do, if it's within the right. And she's really helped me become the person I am today. I wouldn't be who I am today without moving in with her and her starting me up. I mean, I wouldn't even be writing the book without her, so.
Tell me how it felt to finish the chapter and send it off and just know that you completed something new that you've never done like this before. How did you feel?
It felt good, because a lot of the time when I was writing the chapter, it was a really big emotional release. You can know what happened to you your whole life, but when you have to write it all down is when it really starts setting in. So there was times when I felt like I couldn't finish the chapter because it was too emotional for me. But then once I put that last, period, and I sent it to Shar, that's when I was like, all right, I just did that.
Yeah.
Right.
A good feeling of accomplishment then?
Yeah, like a really good feeling of accomplishment.
Nice. Did you have conversations with Shar during the writing of the chapter at
all? Just a little bit here and there. Mostly her giving me compliments for my writing.
Nice.
Or she would send it back and, tell me to fix a couple of things, or like word things differently because she couldn't understand them. That was mostly what it was. That was about it.
Okay. Have you ever written anything before this, like this in a book?
No.
Wow.
No. I would have never thought that I would be writing a book. Because I just didn't. I was more of a math science type girl.
Yeah.
Never an English person.
So when you go to school now and you're sitting in English class and they're talking about a book or a novel and you're like, I'm an author. Does that ever happen? You're like, wow, I'm an author.
Yeah, in my head, yeah.
Yeah.
I tend to think that. I'm like, oh, that is cool. I am an author, but not a lot of people in my personal life know just yet.
Okay. Well, they're going to find out, right?
Well, I know they're going to find out.
That's going to be great.
I just personally haven't said anything.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting. Like, it's so cool that you can share your message with the world and help people, right? And share your story, because everyone has a story, right?
Yeah, everybody.
And I can't tell your story and you can't tell my story. So it's nice that you have this opportunity to do this. It's great.
Yeah, and I really hope that some people will relate to my story and really get, you know, a good feeling from reading my story and an inspiration to move forward.
Yeah. Because we talked about your chapters centering around like parent trauma and moving around and kind of that trauma that you went through growing up.
Mhm.
Can you kind of expand on that just a little bit more so people understand your chapter?
Yeah, absolutely. I grew up in a very, very abusive household, instantly, straight out of the bat. Soon as I was born, like instant abuse. Um, I got out of it at 6 years old, and I moved in with my great grandma. And I had a lot of trauma, and so I was really angry. I was like an angry little girl. Nothing would make me happy. And they didn't know how to handle that, of course, because they just loved me. That's why they wanted me. And so, they, did a lot of things that would, cause some more trauma that I'm sure to this day they're probably not proud of either. And then I came down to Florida for a vacation, and that's where my grandma resided in. And she was like, "Do you want to stay here?" And I said, "Yes, absolutely," because I've always loved my grandma. And because I barely got to see her. And grandma, she took me off the medications I was on slowly to see if it would maybe help improve the way my body works. And it did. Like you know, told me, cause she wanted me, she knew I was strong enough to fight my mental battle myself. And she was right. And um, and now I am 18. I want to be a veterinarian, have good grades in high school, which when I was in my lowest point, I didn't care about school. So it makes me really proud. And now the stuff that happened in the past doesn't really define me no more. So,
Destiny, at 18 years of age, to have the wisdom that you have is amazing. It really is.
thank you.
It is. Okay, so I know your grandma's going to listen to this episode. So she's not there with you right now, right?
No.
No.
We
Yeah.
live in two separate houses.
So what would you like to say to her that when she hears this episode, truly from you directly to her, what do you want to say to her?
I would want to say probably something I've told her thousands of times already is that I love her and that I'm very, very, very thankful that she helped me on my journey, which I'm sure I've told her plenty of times, but I'll say it again.
Yeah, because your life would be completely different,
Oh,
right?
yeah, definitely. My life would be way different without her.
Yeah. So a holiday has turned into a new home for you.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And a helping home, too.
Yeah. It's an amazing story. Just that it's really cool. So, um, yeah. So again, so when people get the book, they're going to come to your chapter, they're going to read through, and you're going to share with them. What are you most proud of about your chapter in this book? What makes you happy when you think about it?
Probably the fact that I was even able to write the book. Because there's a lot of stuff in the book that, writing it made me really emotional and cry, and I had to stop for a bit and put it aside. Um, so I think just the fact that I was able to push myself to write it to begin with, especially with some parts that were really deep to me and meaningful. Yeah, I think that overall is something that makes me really proud.
Do you think this is going to open the door for you to write more in the future?
Yeah, possibly. I've thought about possibly looking at writing more books. But first I gotta go through college and stuff, of course, but,
Yeah.
um, I think it will give me some new opportunities.
Nice. Well, I'm cheering you on for wanting to go down the role of being a veterinarian. That is amazing, to have love for animals and demonstrate that love by caring for them. That's huge. So
Yeah,
I'm cheering you on for that. Your cat there with you?
She's biting me right now.
Don't bite the vet. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Destiny, thank you so much for being part of the podcast. Thank you for sharing about your chapter. I'm looking forward to getting my hands on this book and reading your chapter. And I hope many people are inspired by you and by your words that you share with us. So thank you.
I really hope so too.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being part of my little podcast. I really enjoy this. Thank you.
All right. No problem.
Awesome. Hey, thanks for being here for the podcast Mission Hope, Thriving Through Seasons of the Soul. Came out March 24th, 2023. 18 amazing authors, all corralled by the amazing Char Murphy. If you need some inspiration in your life, please go to the show notes, follow the links, go purchase the book, gift it to someone, buy copies and leave it in your waiting rooms of businesses or a dentist office. Just go out and buy the book and support these great authors, many first-time authors, first-time podcast guests. A lot of firsts happening here. Char Murphy, thank you. Dominic Damaski, publisher as well from Motivation Champs. Thank you so much for bringing together these amazing people, and to have these authors on a podcast here to talk about their chapters is so great. So encouraging you, go out, check out Mission Hope, Thriving Through Seasons of the Soul. Get your copy today. Thanks for being part of the podcast. Catch you on the next one.